Hey guys, this is a 2009 Honda Civic Si. In this video, I'll give you some background on this generation, how much it weighs, driving impressions, quarter mile time, failure to this model, and why I think this generation is the last true Honda in the USA. The Honda Civic Si has had many loyal followers throughout its time frame. Its popularity exploded in the 90s with its D and B series line of VTEC engines. This is an 8th generation Honda Civic Si, which was sold from 2006 to 2011. SI meaning sport injected. There was also a revision in 2009 that included wheels and other minor aesthetic upgrades. The K20 Z3 VTEC engine is paired with a close ratio 6-speed manual transmission. Yes, other cars also had this combination, such as the RSX and TSX with the larger 2.4 liter, but it did not have the limited slip differential like the SI. The 7th generation Civic Si was neutered and most likely the most unpopular because it used the base Acura RSX K20 with only VTEC on the intake and not the exhaust side. It also had a 5-speed manual transmission and no LSD. The engine and transmission assembly is raised and attached to the frame from the bottom at the factory, making it more simplistic but caused the engine bay to be cramped and frustrating to work on. Now here's the issue with this engine placement. The plastic cowl right here is right above the valve cover, and in order to get access to the spark plugs, you'd have to remove this. Also, in order to get access to the rear, you'd probably have to remove this too. There was a coupe body style which weighed about 70 pounds less and was more tossable. This is the sedan, so let's go find out how much it weighs. The car is on the scales. Let's first take a look at how much fuel there is in the fuel tank and then see how much it weighs. As you can see right here, it's at a full tank of gas. It's at 2,939 pounds with a full tank of gas. Before I go get driving impressions, let me explain what I believe is the downfall of this Civic, which really started with the 7th generation in the early 2000s. Honda decided to use McPherson struts in the front. It was cheaper to manufacture and easier to package. A majority of drivers would not notice a difference if it had double wishbone, only those trying to be competitive. It was really a downgrade from the 90s Civic, which had double wishbone suspension. Now, what's my first impression when driving this car? The steering wheel is very small in diameter and quick steering. The dash is long, making it seem like the front of the car is much longer than it really is. I'm still confused about the gauge cluster, but I'm glad that the newer Civics did not have it. The seats are supportive, and the shifter does feel very precise when I'm shifting into gears. Now here's where the fun starts. VTEC kicked in at 6,000. Slight body roll at that turn, and the brakes are adequate. The longer wheelbase of this car is probably what's making it feel much more stable and stiffer. It also has pretty good traction coming out of the corners because of the limited slip differential. The engine is where it's at. Once it reaches VTEC, it just accelerates all the way to redline. Not a bad experience. Overall, I like how it pulls out of the corners and how stiff the chassis feels. I just don't like that body roll, but obviously with the aftermarket, that can be solved. The best quarter mile time was achieved by launching at 2,500 RPM with a quick clutch release and modulating the gas pedal until there is traction. The 60 foot is reached at 2.7 seconds with a 0 to 60 mile per hour of 7.3 seconds. Then the 8th mile at 10.2 seconds. Quarter mile at 15.6 seconds at 93 miles per hour. I know, you're probably thinking that I missed the 2.4 liter K24 Z7 found in the 9th generation Civic Si. Although it made more power down low with a longer stroke, it wasn't able to rev as high as this K20. We now have turbocharged motors in the new Si and Type R that are no longer high revving and reminiscent of past Honda motors. The 8th generation Honda Civic Si is the last true Honda that we received. Front-wheel drive, high revving, sporty. I know we did not receive the 8th generation Type R in the US, but I'd think that most would agree that it was the last true Type R. This chassis and motor was the foundation for it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the 8th generation Honda Civic Si. Browse my channel for more videos and subscribe for future content. I'll see you in the next video.